Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Jan, Mohammed. We're gonna wait just some minutes for other people to join in. Thank you. Okay, good afternoon. We're gonna start this webinar. My name is Pedro Gamboa. I'm an account executive for US for Promine, and today we're gonna be talking about Proviz. I'm gonna share my screen now. Okay, perfect. Today we're going to be speaking or talking about Proviz. It's our web-based application to manage point clouds through web browsers. Again, my name is Pedro Gamboa. I'm a geologist. You can find me at pgamboa at promine.com. We have a section for question and answers in the chat, so you can just write there any question you have or just interrupt me with any question, and I'll be glad to respond. Okay, perfect. Our agenda for today is going to be about Promine Inc., our software, ProGeox. It's our app for geological phase mapping. ProDeal, it's our solution for dilution reduction and understanding using artificial intelligence. Proviz, that's what our main focus is going to be today. It's our point cloud management through the web. And then we're going to have a Proviz live demo. Okay, so what is Promine? Promine, we're a Canadian-based company established in 1993. We have more than 30 years in the market. We offer software services for the mining industry, focused on mine design, survey, live survey, and geological tools for underground mining. Our headquarters are at Quebec, and our web page is promine.com. Okay, so our mission is to help other customers be more efficient and more profitable in just a few clicks, where our software is made for everyday mining use. We have more than 100 customers, clients in America, North America, South America, Central Africa. Okay, what is our software? The ProMine software. It's a software solution built for mining, survey, and geology experts. It's an extension of BreathCAD and AutoCAD. It works like a module. It's installed on this CAD software. It provides additional functionality oriented towards the mining industry. Our focus is to develop technology for underground mines, surveys, as well as mining and geology. Okay, our categories. This is for our ProMine software. We have our essentials modules. It's made for collaborative work. You can have all your files and share them between the people working in the same department or other departments. You only have to put all the information in the server, and from essentials, we can all connect to that information and work in a collaborative way. We also have a module for doing models, 3D models, 3D drift, 3D rise design, surfaces, solids, and meshes. We have our engineer module that is based in drift planning, mine planning, drift stope design. We have our futures or our tools for like survey tools, surveying. And we have our ProGeox module that's for block modeling, geostatistic, resource estimation, among others. So we try to address one of the most critical issues in the mining and geology software. That's the lack of complete integration from exploration to production. We prize ourselves saying that we accomplish this in a very perfect and harmonious way. Okay, let's talk a little bit about ProGeox. ProGeox, it's developed from our model in ProMine, but this is a standalone application. ProGeox is developed for any tablet or phone that has Android capabilities, that can be that has Android OS operating system. You can import DXS files. You can visualize and rotate all your files and see them like if you are in any other type of CAD system. We can insert measurement scales that is the same that any geologist would do in the actual field. It has simplified to use buttons. You can just use your finger or a stylus inside of the mine. It doesn't need any type of internet or connection once you have downloaded the files. It has application from phase and back mapping, and it has also capabilities to directly edit geological structures, among other features. Other application or other solution that we have is ProDeal. ProDeal is intended for reducing dilution on sites, on mine, when you do your exploitation of minerals. The way that it works is that we collect all the historical data from the mine, drift dimensions, rock types, drilling and blasting, dilution results. All this information is fed to the artificial intelligence model. It is trained to understand and predict dilution. Once that it has computed and give us results, those results are added again to the database. And then the AI, when we add that information, can make more predictions. The idea is that once we have more information fed, the artificial intelligence is going to get every time smarter and it's going to give more effective results. Okay, we're going to talk now about Proviz, our main cool feature in this webinar today. So Proviz is a base web solution. The idea is that you can upload all the information to a web server, a safe web server, and from there you can manage the information. You don't have to install any software on your PC. You only have to have any type of browser that may allow you to connect to the server using our program, our software, and manage all the information that you need from your point clouds, so that the data is stored and backed up always in a server. It's a secure server. All the computations, it's done over the cloud. So we provide all the needed processing power. You don't have to, you don't need to have a power for PC, since all the computation is done by our software on the cloud. Okay, some key features of Proviz is that it creates 3D models. It can combine point cloud files. If you have several point clouds, you can upload them all and combine them in one file. It can reduce the size of the file, being this very convenient because, as everybody that has worked with this type of files may know, they tend to be very large. Proviz may help by reducing the size of the file, making it more manageable in your PC. It creates lighter models. It computes volumes. It can also compute overbreak and underbreak, and it can export meshes to AutoCAD. In the supported files, we have E57, .las, .txt, CVS, CSV files, among others. Okay, in this case, we're going to promote our Proviz Basic web solution. We have two other developments that are Proviz Silver and Proviz Gold. We're going to talk about them a little bit forward in the presentation after we do the live demo. The features of our Proviz Basic is that you can upload until 10 files at the same time. They can all be stored in the web in our server. You have up to 10 gigabytes of data hosting. You can support files, each file up to ½ gigabyte in size, and 1 million points are supported in each point cloud file. We can create meshes from those point clouds, and it's compatible with AutoCAD. The minimum requirements from your PC are basically any PC that can run any web browser. So it's a very light or easy to accomplish requirement. For example, the processor only needs to be at least 2.5 gigahertz, and it supports multi-core processor, dual core, quad cores. You need 8 gigabytes of RAM, a display resolution of 1920 by 1080, a graphic cards at least of 1 gigabyte of internal memory, and we support Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Firefox, and Safari. Okay, so we're gonna start our live demo. This is like our main web page. It's proviz.promine.com. You only need an email registered and a password. Once we create that information from you, you can just start using our web system. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and go to the web browser to continue the demo. Okay, so once we have logged in our app in your user, you're going to be prompted with this window. In this window, you can see that if you have other companies already created, you can start working immediately. In this case, we're going to create a new company. We're going to make a test company just to do a walkthrough for all the capabilities that Proviz has available for you. So we're going to hit the Create Company button. Here, we could add a logo to our company. I'm not going to do that right now, but we're going to add a name. For example, our name is going to be New Company Incorporated. We can add a description, let's say New Test Company, and we're going to create this. Okay. So now that our company has been created, we can start loading information into our new or recently created company. So let's click down here on See Company. And now we can create, we can edit the company. We can edit all these parameters. I'm going to cancel this. Or we can just start creating our real mine sites. So in this case, I'm going to create 2 mine sites. Let's say we have a west mine. This would be our test mine in the west. These are just names that are typing in. These names or these descriptions obviously will be related to your actual or your real mine site. I'm going to create that. I'm going to create a second one just to have two here to do a visualization. Let's say that this one is going to be our mine in the east. Create. Okay, so here we have our two mines. These mines can be deleted or we can create additional sites. Let's go inside of one of this. It's mine, for example. Okay, now we can create our areas. Our areas would be, let's say that this mine would be named access, and the description would be access to the mine, for example. We could add another area. Let's say it would be level 1 drift. Drift, for example, we just create a description for the type of area. Let's create. Okay, perfect. Now we have our two areas created inside our mine, forming our company. So we can now start to manipulate this information. Let's do a click over level 1 drift. That's the area we just created. And we can now upload our scan. So I'm going to click on upload scan. These are all the files that are compatible. I'm going to check select file. I have my mesh file here in a PA-WAL format. I'm going to open that. And I'm going to click upload file. Okay, once it's uploaded, now I can see that the file appears here and it's processing. We have to give it some seconds because it has to load all the information into the cloud. So we can go back to mine, back to level drift. Okay, let's wait a second for it to stop processing the information. I'm going to refresh. Okay, now it's ready to use. Once the information has been loaded in the server and the program has accepted all the particularities of this file, we can now use it. So I'm going to click on that file that we just uploaded and then display selected scans. Okay, perfect. Now we have that point cloud. It's completely in 3D, so we can rotate our model. We can pan view, and we can go from side to side. And we have here in the left, right side, we have our options available for Proviz Basic. Let's see our first panel in visualization options. Here we can use a color as a solid, or we can color by attributes. In this case, this file only has X, Y, Z attributes, so we can pick one of those and do different colors in terms of the variable that we're selecting. So let's select X. Let's say that we want that information in magenta. We're going to have a legend, a scale here at the right that is going to show our inferior and our superior numeric value. So in the case of X files, it goes from 455 meters over here at the left to 460 meters at the right. If we change to Y, then it automatically reads the information. And now it displays our Y axis here from 1055 to 1065, sorry. Perfect. I'm going to go back to the rainbow color since it's one of the most used. Okay. Other options that we have is our point option. In points option, we can turn off and on the grid, depending on what we need in a specific time. So if you do not want to see the grid, you can just turn it off. We have the capability to extract point information. So if I do a right click over any point, I'm going to do a zoom. If I do a right click over any point, right now you can see those attributes of that point. In this case, X, Y, and Z values for each one of those coordinates. If I click on another point, for example, I get the information from that new point. I can also increase the size of my points. Let's say if I need another visualization, I can just increase this point size, and I can see now my points in a bigger size. I can also increase the size of the information dot that is here. So let's say if I increase the size, I'm going to see my information point a little bit bigger. In this case, is because we have a relatively small point cloud file, but in cases where we have much information, this is a very useful feature because it allows us to view in a better way our model. I'm going to reduce the font size. Okay. We can also conveniently reduce the amounts of points that are going to generate the model. For example, we can reduce them in half the size that they have, half the amount of points. This would make the model much lighter. Sometimes we don't need to show so much information, so we can decide how many points we want to use in a specific time. All depends on what the type of information that we want to process. And we also have an option to have the distance between 2 points. For example, if I click a point here and a point there, it's going to give me the X distance. In this case, the horizontal distance, that would be 10.6 meters. It also gives me the vertical distance from here to here. It would be 3.4 meters. Let me choose some points more separate. For example, these ones. We can see now that our horizontal distance is almost 30 meters. And if we do it in a vertical scale, we can see that our vertical distance is almost 13 meters here. Okay. Another interesting function that we have is that we can reduce this section on which we are working. For example, if we don't have to work with all this information or with the entire point cloud or the entire drift, we can just limit some coordinates and work with a smaller piece of information. For example, I'm gonna give here 445 meters to 440, and I'm gonna click on filter points. And now we have our information reduced to a much smaller area that can be easier to compute in a PC that doesn't have great capabilities. In the case of the cloud, it's going to process basically any type of file, but in the case of a computer, it may be convenient to reduce the size of that point cloud in order to manipulate the information easily. Other function that we have, let me close this, is the capability to download the files. For example, I can download, let's say, a test file in a TXT format, and that's going to download this point cloud information. I'm going to click download. It's going to download the file. After we finish the demo, I'm going to show you that file so that you can visualize it. And we can also download this information as a mesh. For example, I'm going to do a test mesh open. I'm going to ask it to be capable, compatible with AutoCAD. So I'm going to generate my mesh. I get prompt with a message that says that the mesh is being created. At the same time, I'm going to generate that same section but with a closed mesh. So in this case, it's going to be text mesh closed. I'm going to generate that solid also. I get prompt with the same message. And I'm going to go back to my areas. Once here, I'm going to go to my message. And I can see that one is already ready for use. The other one, the second one that we created, it's being processed. So I'm going to open this one that it's already ready for use. And I'm going to click on display selected message. And we have now our mesh. It's created. It's not a point cloud anymore. Now it's a mesh. Since it's a mesh, it is a more convenient type of file to manage in any type of software. It's not as heavy to use as a point cloud. In this case, since this one is an open mesh, we cannot computate volumes. But let's go back and go back to meshes. My closed mesh is already created, so I'm going to display that one. And in this case of this mesh, since it's closed, now I have a volume computation. And if I add a rock density, let's say 12.7, I can calculate the tonnage of this ore body or this drift body. Okay, I'm going to go back. Also, we can download these files that we just created. We can download them in PLY file or in a DXF file. I'm going to download them in DXF. So I'm going to download this one. And I'm also going to download this one. At the same time, if I don't need that information, I can just delete the information that isn't used anymore. I can also delete my scans if I needed to delete them, or if I have already acquired my 10 scans for the Proviz Basic solution, I can also delete scans to free up space. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to now go back to my AutoCAD, because those files that I just downloaded are now going to be reviewed in AutoCAD so that you can see the end result. Okay, I have already uploaded this information to AutoCAD. This is the mesh that we just generated and downloaded. This is the open one. So as you can see here, we can manipulate this information like any other mesh file that we will have in our PC. This is our closed one. So here also we can use all our ProMine capabilities. And in the same way, we could just come here and let's say computate volume for this file. And there we have our volume and our tonnage also calculated, but now in ProMine using that mesh. Okay, so back to our presentation. Besides Proviz Basic, we also have a Proviz Silver and a Proviz Gold. Both have the same capabilities of Proviz Basic, but in the case of Proviz Silver, we can upload up to 100 files. In Proviz Basic, we can upload up to 1,000 files. In Proviz Silver, we have a data hosting capability of 100 gigabytes and 1 terabyte for Proviz Gold. We can support, in the case of Proviz Silver, up to 10 gigabytes in size per file, opposed to 0.5 gigabytes that we can use in Proviz Basic. Proviz Gold also supports 10 gigabytes in size. For both versions, Silver and Gold, we can support up to 10 million points per file. In Proviz Silver, we have the linear declimatization point reduction to make our file smaller. In the case of Proviz Gold, we have advanced point cloud filtering, collision clearers detector. That's in the case that we have the dimension of the truck, and we want to know if it will pass through our drift or a structure. With Proviz Goal, we can analyze that. We have overbreak and underbreak computation. In this case, we have an intelligent delimitation point reduction. In the case of Proviz Silver, it's linear. And we can also cut sections with Proviz Goal. Okay, and now to finish our presentation, I will also have to talk about our consultant services in ProMind. With our consultant services, we provide Android app development for any type of information that you want to capture in the mine. We also have software development for specific mining and geological tasks. We can provide with 3D scans in spaces that are narrow, in which a person couldn't enter, or maybe it's dangerous, hazardous for a person to enter. We have semi-autonomous flying drones or semi-autonomous trucks that can lead the scan information and take the scans for us without having to put our personnel into danger. And we can also train your personnel for better scan acquisitions. Okay, thank you very much. There's a question and answer sections. You can send any questions there, and I will, after the webinar, I will answer them live in the chat. We also have our Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram links right here, and our client support and phone numbers. Okay, this is everything for this webinar today. Thank you very much for your assistance, and I will be reading in the Q&A to see any question that you may have. If you have any additional information, please don't hesitate in contact me through support, through my email, or just through our phones, or in any one of our live internet options. Thank you very much.